all systems, we're good.
Okay.
Let me then officially call this meeting to order of the La Joya Housing Authority on this day, the 24th of July, 2020. For purpose of roll call and to establish the quorum, let me ask you each to record your name. So this is Maria Leo, chairperson.
Jorge Bazan, vice chair, present.
Rosa Ivette Flores,
Present.
present.
Berta Mireles, present.
Also present is this Miss Valdez? No, that's not Miss Valdez.
Hillary.
She's our finance director, finance coordinator, but her video is not working, but she can hear us.
Yes, I'm here.
Absent is Miss Hillary Garcia.
That's correct.
She's absent.
She messaged that she was going to be unavailable. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but we do have a quorum.
Yes, ma'am.
And obviously, if you are calling your name in, you are present, but again, just for routine, I asked you to make that note. That statement.
It's noted, ma'am.
Thank you. All right. The first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Are there additions or corrections?
We're not gonna do the Pledge of Allegiance, miss.
Oh, I'm sorry. You are.
Number 3.
Thank you. So each in our own place, and this is the new normal for a while, meeting by Zoom.
We have a flag present, so yes, we can do a Pledge of Allegiance. We have a flag present.
Thank you. So please join us. I pledge allegiance
To the flag.
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
I did not call on anyone to give the invocation, but does any member of the board wish to do so, to give the invocation?
I can do it.
Thank you.
Okay. Dear loving God, please grant us peace and strength and give us the clarity of mind to make good decisions to help our tenants. And also I want to send special prayers to all the people that is sick in these hard times, and please bless them, and please bless all our homes, and to make sure that everything goes back the way that it used to be before. In the name of your son, Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Thank you. Now we can go to approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. May I have a motion? Are there additions or corrections? I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, these are the minutes from May 7th. We did not have a June meeting. As you recall, we had to cancel because of COVID issues. But here you will see, I guess most notably, this was the meeting where we selected a chair and a vice chair. And I was very careful to mention that as far as who the motions were made and the type of very, very overwhelming support that the selection of chair and vice chair had at that meeting.
Thank you, sir. You did do that, but that's one of the questions I have. Do we need to, you note who made the nominations, but do we need to know who seconded?
Well, I had multiple seconds, so I didn't want to identify, but we basically had unanimous seconds throughout. That's what I named so many people.
Okay.
Even in the recording, it's almost simultaneously people said, and it wasn't identified. Nobody said second by so-and-so. It just became one of those things that everybody said so. But if you tell me to identify, I can go back and make the adjustment however you see fit.
No, again, it was routine. But I did notice that the other motions made at the meeting were, you noted who seconded, just for future meetings in case.
Very good.
You should come up. Thank you. And the very item 8, the minutes say Director Ruben Villarreal presented a financial report highlighting some of the expenditures for the Housing Authority for date January 1, 2020 to the present date. Could we add, no questions were presented from the board?
Yes, ma'am, of course.
Again, just to clarify. So with that addition, does anyone have any other additions or corrections to the minutes?
No, ma'am.
Then I will entertain a motion to approve as presented, as corrected. Is there a motion?
This time, I move that we approve previous minutes for Thursday, May 7th, 2020, regular meeting at La Joya Housing Authority.
As corrected, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second emotion.
Okay, Ms. Flores. So the motion has been made and seconded that the minutes of the
Second emotion.
May 7th meeting be approved as corrected. All those in favor say. So the motion has been made and seconded that the minutes of the.
Second emotion.
Is there an echo, Mr. Villarreal?
I'm not sure where it's coming from, ma'am. I have recorders going, but they're not amplifying. I can shut down mine. I'm not.
Okay.
Is there an echo? Recording. That's recording.
Ahí está, ahí te oye. Pero no oyes tú.
Let me repeat.
¿Sí oyes tú?
Been made by Mr. Bassam, seconded by Ms. Flores to approve. All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. The next item, read. Consider, are we there?
Yes, ma'am.
There we go. Consideration and possible action to approve La Joya Housing Authority Personnel and Internal Controls Manual and Policy. A little background, Mr. Villarreal?
It's a lot of background in this one, Madam Chair. This document that you see, I think I delivered to everybody, is a personnel and internal controls policy. It had been absent from our system for many months since I got there.
No oigo yo, amor, tengo que oír yo.
Upon researching, we discovered a document, which is the only document we have, which is this one right here. Now, the reason this becomes important, Madam Chair, this document that you see, I think I delivered to everybody, is a personnel and internal controls policy. It had been absent from our system for many months since I got there.
No oigo yo, amor, tengo que oír yo.
Upon researching, we discovered a document, which is the only document we have.
Mr. Villarreal,
Yes.
I think if we all mute ourselves, that might help.
Yeah.
Mute ourselves.
And internal controls policy. It had been absent from our system for many months since I got there.
Let's see.
Does somebody have a phone on somewhere, maybe?
Everybody but your chair.
Okay.
Okay, let's ask her to unmute. There you go.
Madam Chair, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, I have no feedback this
I
time.
would ask,
all right. Do I need to mute myself?
I don't think so. I think maybe somebody had a phone on.
All right.
The internal, here we go, Housing Authority Personnel and Internal Controls Manual and Policy. This document had originally come to the A board, I don't know which one, somewhere in 2018. We found this copy and we've had to revise it because HUD is requiring us to have this document. Not only that, if you go to page 20A, inside this document, 20A, it's right after 19, it's added as 20A because we didn't have a file that we could edit. So we added these pages. This identifies the job descriptions that we approved in our recovery agreement back in November. but we have to make it a part of our internal controls policy, which is number one, the document that you see here. And the reason you're seeing this whole document is because although it has been in the system since 2018, I could not verify its existence through minutes. So once we adopt this document that's been around for a while, I have a set of minutes that I can send HUD to verify that this board has approved it. Not only approved that, but approved our job descriptions that we created back in November.
So the addition is that page 28, which provides the job descriptions that HUD had asked for in their initial audit.
That is correct, but I will tell you what, as a document as a whole, it's extremely thorough. It's very well done. It has a travel policy, sexual harassment policy. It talks about wages for employees. This policy is very well done. In fact, I read it very carefully, and it's very thorough. It's a very good one. For our type of operation, it's actually very ideal because it's all-in-one encompassing. So I've already been in contact with HUD, and I told them what we're going to do, and they're just waiting for this meeting for me to convey this information to them.
And is this the only item that they specifically asked to have verified by board action? The job descriptions, was that the only thing missing?
This is the third item. We still have one more item to go.
Oh.
And so that will probably be at the next meeting, but this is a very, very large one. This is a big sizable. They've been very cooperative with us. They understand everybody's going through a lot of severe issues with COVID, but they've been very patient, and they basically told me, handle it at your best opportunity and let us know. I've been very, very determined to let HUD know our situation, and everybody's heard of Hidalgo County in a circumstance. So they basically told us, handle it in the best way possible. And the next item, I don't have that letter with me because I'm not at the office, but the next item that you'll see will be next month. This is the third item that we need to handle. This dates back to a deficiency, Madam Chair, that goes back as far as 2017. So this is not new. This is actually something that we're dealing with from as much as 3 years previous to us.
So the action we are being asked to take right now is to approve the entire manual. And so we are including the job descriptions, and we may come back at the next meeting and approve the manual again with the inclusion of other items.
It will be a different item. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but the other item I think deals with procurement.
Okay.
The procurement policy issue.
Okay.
And I'm taking them one at a time. That way, make sure we hit all, and that way they tell me there's a problem with this one, I can bring it back. But the next one now I'm thinking is a procurement issue. But this one, once it's done, I send it in, we're done with that one. We'll have one more to go. Now, again, I can't emphasize enough that this is taking care of deficiencies that date back as far as 2017.
Yes.
I have a question, Mr. Guardian. Did our attorney have a look at, did he see these documents?
No, sir.
He hasn't seen them?
Mm. This is internal control policy. This has more to do with
Okay.
HUD. HUD has seen it.
So how does okay with this as far as that it's up to par to their standards?
Yes, sir.
Other questions? Then at this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the Personnel and Internal Controls Manual and Policy Document with the addition of the job descriptions requested by HUD. I will entertain a motion to approve this document.
First motion.
Yvette Flores moves. Is there a second?
I think if Berta is muted, she's trying to speak.
Let me get that done. Hold on, Ms. Berta. There you go.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I second the motion.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Berta, excuse me, your last name?
Paredes.
Mireles. Ms. Mireles, seconds. There is a motion and a second to approve the Personnel and Internal Controls Manual and Policy Document. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The next item, consideration and possible action to approve the La Joya Housing Authority Corrective Action Plan, which will be presented to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development as we know it. Mr. Villarreal?
This action plan is another one of those documents, Madam Chair and commissioners, that I think I sat with you all individually. I think except for Ms. Berta, and I explained to you the background behind this. This is actually a very, very extremely important document. This is a corrective action plan that HUD has already seen, by the way. So it's not something there's not a lot of guesswork in this. HUD has already been notified of this plan, and they've pretty much given us their support. Again, this document also satisfies deficiencies that date back as far as 2017 into 2018. I believe this is probably the last major corrective document that we have to submit to HUD. In November of 2019, we submitted another document that was more lengthy than this, but this is, if you look, it's more technical. It talks about Section 8 situations. It talks about the development and implementation of methods and who's responsible. But HUD has seen this already, and they've pretty much given us their green light on it.
This is one of those, again, a technicality that you have to have minutes reflect that this has been formally approved by the board.
Very much so. This document is very pivotal to our being no longer a troubled housing authority. They cannot release us from that designation until we provide them this document. Now, I will tell you that it has target dates of August of this year, and every single one of these target dates is already in the works. I'm very, very confident on this document because, again, HUD has seen it, and I did talk to Greg Krause, which is our portfolio manager, and he helped walk me through the process. You look at it, there's a lot of acronyms. It's not easy to read, but it speaks their language. And once we pass this particular corrective action plan, it gets us much closer to finding not being a troubled housing authority.
One step at a time. I know it has been challenging to get through.
Long road.
Yes, yes.
It
You
has.
know, Hassan, yeah.
It has.
And so are there any questions from anyone of Mr. Villarreal regarding the corrective action plan that will be presented to HUD?
One last thing, this is also amendable. If they identify another item that we are lacking, but I may or may not happen, we can come back and amend this document. It's amendable.
All right. If there are no questions, I will call for a motion.
I move to approve the corrective action plan for La Joya Housing Authority as presented.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
The motion has been made by Mr. Bazan and seconded by Ms. Flores to approve the corrective action plan to be presented to HUD. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We continue. The next item is the discussion on the financial report for June 2020. Mr. Villarreal.
What you see before you is two financial reports. Since we didn't have the the June meeting, you see the May report and you'll have a June report. The first one is what they call Section 8. Section 8 is what we pay landlords. So what you see basically there's itemized amounts that we pay landlords. You don't see the landlords identified for privacy reasons, but this is very, very much of a template. It doesn't change an awful lot. The landlords get paid as per requirement by HUD. So what you see is a listing there of all the Section 8 checks that go out to the landlords. Now, the low rent's probably a little more interesting because that gets into the nuts and bolts of our operation. And in there, you'll see payroll. You'll see us paying for the software that we use for maintenance of our operation. You'll see our cleaning services that are there, our water bills, the printer leasing, everything is right there. Gas bills. We are luckily, I will tell you, Dr. Liu, we have a very repetitive payment process. We pay some attorneys, but it's all pretty much the same. It has to do with the operation or daily operations of the housing authority. And like I say, if you have any questions on anything, now that's May and June. And if you compare May and June, you don't see an awful lot of differences. Sometimes we'll have to hire, services for repair of air conditioning. Sometimes, we take care of most of the electric.
Sure. I have a question on that. For the record, next time when you all present this check detail of items, make sure that when the air conditioning people come, to put it in detail what kind of motor it is or what kind of part it is, because it's real vague, just saying, just motor, but we need to know what kind of motor it is, especially, like me, that I know about all these things. I want to know exactly, what kind of part in specific was replaced in these units.
Very good. I'll ask for specific itemized invoices. Right now it's the summertime, so air conditions are breaking quite often. It's the time of year. But I'll ask for very, very carefully identified invoices that we can track down, and we can provide them if you like. We provide them in the next set of financial records. I think Ms. Valdez is online. I see her there, but if she has anything to add, but the main expense that we have basically is a lot have to do with our software, like some attorney's fees, our regular bills, electric bills. Now we have Wi-Fi service.
Yeah.
So
because one of these items, it was on, I think it was May 20th. It says here on 945 South Leo, Unit 7, it just says here, see invoice. I mean, I don't know exactly what they put. They charged $80, and I want to find out what exactly, because it says there's C invoice, but we don't have an invoice to see, so.
I will ask that they start including itemized statements on the financial reports.
Does anyone have any other questions, clarifications that you would like to make?
I do. Mr. Villarreal, what's the status on the units that needed a repair, the roof repairs?
We contacted, I haven't contacted, I sent an email to a company, but I believe I never got answered. I think that everybody's with this COVID and our situation with Hidalgo County being a kind of a hotspot. I think everybody's kind of waiting for the storm to pass, if you will. But I'll follow up with them on Monday, and I'll give them a call and see what time frame they can give us as far as them coming to survey the roof situation we have. It's been very difficult. A lot of the, even Erlab, our accountant, has wanted to visit, but he is a little hesitant right now because of the circumstances with travel in our area.
Right.
But by our next meeting, I hopefully will have some communication to discuss with you all. With the main project right now, obviously, for us, as far as we're concerned, is new roofs for our facilities.
Okay. Thank you.
And these are the people that have not been able to come out, or you haven't made contact with them?
I sent them an email and I didn't get a response on the email. So I don't know if they're working remotely also. It's been a little challenging because even HUD right now is still working remotely as well. So sometimes, like emails I sent to HUD, when it used to take minutes or half an hour, now it'll take a day before they answer. But I will follow up again. It might have gone into a different file, or maybe but I did send an email just requesting some general information. I got some contact information. I have not called them. Maybe that's the thing to do. But I'll call them on Monday, Ms. Yvette, and I'll see what they tell me.
Okay.
Is
Thank
this
you.
Is this,
Mr. Villarreal, I have another question.
Yes, sir.
What is the percentage right now on the delinquency in payments from tenants?
The delinquency is actually quite high, but Mr. Basan, right now we can't send late notices. I think our delinquency is about 18%.
Okay, so it went up a little bit?
Oh, went up quite a bit. Went up
Yeah.
quite a bit. We were at 2%, but right now we
Oh,
can't.
wow.
Yeah, we can't send late notices. We can't send status of late payment notices. We can't send termination contract notices. Everything has been frozen since this thing started. So we have no tools to remind people. Now, when they come and pay or when we see them, we mention it to them, but we cannot send formal letters expressing to them any kind of
Delinquency.
problems with
Okay.
rent. Yeah, it's just right now there's a big need to make sure that people have somewhere to live, and I think that the federal government is being very cognizant of that.
Okay.
so why we cannot send these notices is because of federal regulations?
That is correct, ma'am.
Yeah.
That's been in place since April, I believe, where we got notified that we could not send them any kind of the
Of
federal
letters or another.
yeah, they don't want any kind of pressing issue regarding their housing, even if they're behind. We still have some tenants who are behind in their rent, but I cannot exercise any tools to try to make them pay or to try to collect. Fortunately, and I have notified some of the tenants, Hidalgo County does have some services that will help them pay for some of their rent. So I'm working with the details with Mr. Jaime Longoria and trying to get the details to see maybe some of our tenants want to apply for that.
Is that under the CARES Act?
Yes, sir. That's under the CARES Act.
And is there a duration during which we can take those steps? Or is it indefinite?
Until they tell me otherwise, and it doesn't seem like the last notice I had was 2 weeks ago, and it's still extended, I believe, till August 15th or 18th or something like that.
After that date, notices can be sent, or we assume, unless it's extended?
What has happened is that there's been extensions. There's been at least 2 extensions since COVID started. So by this point, the other day I did have a phone call from a tenant with a concern from a different area saying that they were being sent late notices, and I said that cannot be. We can't send late notices right now. So as far as how the federal government handles our COVID situation where housing's concerned, they're being very, very sensitive to the need to keep people in their homes right now.
Okay, good.
I have a question, Mr. Varela. I have a concern. We are expecting some rain this weekend, actually today. The tenants, are they okay if we get some rain? I remember they're having some issues with the roof.
That's what, yeah, we're going to have roofing issues. It's going to be, that's going to be a problem until we get it fixed. That's been an ongoing circumstance that we've had. Mr. Cantu, I will tell you now, I lost his service for this last week. He was self-quarantined and he had to get tested. He tested negative. So I didn't have his services this past week, and I just talked to him right now. He was taking care of some electrical issues, but I'll call him after this meeting and see what preparations are made for storms. I'm not familiar with what preparations are typically made, but he'll know. And
Yes. What about sandbags or something if they need?
Yeah.
The city,
Have that available?
The city is a resource for sandbags. I saw Mr. Hassan. Yeah. The residents under the scope of what a resident is in La Jolla, they qualify as residents, so they can pick up, I believe, 2 sandbags, Mr. Basan, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Varela.
I want to try to get a follow-up. I want to know what happens in flooding situations in that area. I know that some areas are susceptible. I'm not familiar with what happens in the housing authority, but I'm going to, as soon as I get some word, I'll actually message you. I'll let you all know.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
And Mr. Hassan, are you saying the city of La Jolla is providing sandbags?
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Yeah, they were doing sandbags today all day.
okay, very good. And Mr. Villarreal, this might be the time to acknowledge that you have been excellent about keeping us up to date on
Yes, we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
very valuable.
Thank you for saying that. There was about 3 weeks ago that I ran the housing authority by myself. I didn't want to. It's not a complaint at all. It's just about making sure that the tenants have somebody to talk to and attending to their needs. I had all 3 of our employees out on self quarantine. They all tested negative.
Scott.
They're challenging times. And I want to tell you something. Let me mention that when I'm there, the paperwork that has to do with HUD luckily is not extreme, because the needs for our food pantry has been. When I was by myself and I told my staff, I probably provided about 45 to 48 bags of food during about a 3 or 4 day duration. I had them spanned out every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And every single person showed up for their bag of food. Didn't have anybody who didn't show up. And I will tell you, and I'm pleased to say that our clients furthest east is Donna, Texas. They come from Donna to pick up food at our food pantry.
Oh, wow.
Donna, Texas, yes.
Very surprised as far as all the help that this food pantry has given to the community of La Joya and the surrounding communities. In the past, it was very hard. They would have to wait for the food drives of the county or maybe the city, county and city combined. But since now that we have a food pantry that's pretty much like every week, especially right now with COVID, that they can go get food, that makes it real good for a lot of people. I mean, we've done real good with people.
The
Where's their
pantry
needs?
serves people in Peñitas, in Havana, in Sullivan City, in La Joya, parts of Mission. It's really very, very, very needed. The demand has surprised even myself. Food insecurity is a very real thing. And I'm very, very happy to be of service. You know what? I want to tell you that I have Ms. Valdez here, but our staff has been very helpful. I'm the one that fills the bags mostly. Mr. Cantu is the one that stocks the pantry, and Ms. Blanca Valdez, she does all the food ordering. And we do that on top of everything else we have. But the food pantry and the demands of it, I will tell you, sometimes it keeps us going. But it's what we do now that's going to determine what we do in the future. So I don't see, we have challenging times, but you know what? We have a wonderful team, you all included, and I thank you for your support, all of you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Our continued gratitude for a job very well done. And I know that certainly these times, food assistance is not typically part of the job, but you are doing this ensures that the residents will enjoy a better quality of life. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Villarreal.
Thank you.
I want to add, Mr. Varela, that I am available anytime. I'm just a phone call away. If you need help, just give me a call.
I might take you up on that, Ms. Berta. Sometimes
Yes, most definitely.
All of us. We're here to help.
Yes.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
And so if you would just keep us posted on what you find out about the roofs, and
I will.
then during these upcoming days of bad weather, what is happening? Yeah, because we're conscious of the fact that there may be issues that are affecting our family.
I'll have a report to you by tomorrow at 12 noon. I'll talk to Mr. Cantu about the area, what happens, what are the conditions that we should expect. But expect a message from me by tomorrow, 12 noon. And I'll give you the best insight that I possibly have, because I'm curious too, to be honest with you. I'm not sure, but I'll find out.
Okay.
Are you all going to have somebody on standby? Is Roberto going to be on standby just in case if an emergency happens with tenants there due to the weather? Or they're just supposed to call the fire department or the strike team to go ahead and assist them with their needs that they might have at that time?
Well, my first response is, Mr. Abasan, we'll help. We'll deal what we can deal with. In cases of emergencies, there's just so much we can do. If it's something that's electrical or something that's the tree fell, or we've done things like that already. But if most certainly, if we find ourselves a little overwhelmed, that it's a bit much, it's not a one-man job, we'll reach out for help.
Okay.
Good.
Is there an emergency plan on place already, or that is something that we will want to work on?
Mr. Cantu is always on standby. That's the nature of the job. I mean, recently, because of the CARES money we had, we invested in two smartphones, and we purchased them, and we're buying them through the system where you pay $60 or $65 a month, and then you get full services. So he carries a cell phone now that we can reach him, and he's been very good about it. He, you know, unfortunately, I say fortunately, it doesn't happen all that often, but he's always on standby.
Okay.
But now that he came out negative, he's gonna be on standby today?
Yes,
or this weekend?
He was working already. The minute that he got the negative call, we had an issue with electrical problem with one of the tenants. So he said, I got a negative. I'm on my way to go deal with the tenant. So he might be there right now as we speak.
That's good to know.
Yes. We always answer the phone. Let me tell you that we're within reach.
Yes.
We're always within reach. One of us, you know, going back to the last big episode we had with the food pantry, I got called on weekend. Mr. Vasan was there too. Mr. Vasan and I were filling bags on weekends because my personal number was put in the public eye on social media, and that's
compromise.
I went to go fill 2 bags, and we did probably 14 or 16 bags. I forgot how many. But I went by because I promised a lady. I said, okay, and I promised another lady, and I went to do 2 bags. By the time we knew, we had done 16.
Wow.
You know what? That's what it's there for. And you know what? Since we're talking about it, I do want to give a big shout out to the food bank of the RGV. They've been very supportive. I cannot say enough.
We appreciate it a lot.
Very
Thank you
grateful
so
for
much.
I mean, the
Food bank.
food that they provide us are you know, frosted flakes, canned meats, peanut butters, jellies.
Wow, it's a blessing.
No, it's we had pancake mixes last month. We're almost out. We had pancake mix. So
Wow.
the foods are very generous. They're they're good nutritional things for families. We had chips that were available to us for a while too. We had Doritos and Cheetos. So it's, you know, basic food items. But again, we run out. We just restock now, so we're very well stocked for the, you know, if something happens as far as food's concerned. We're ready to go, and I'm so proud of the board and what we're doing, because we've made nutrition a part of the responsibility of this housing authority.
Yes.
And it's a big thing. I will tell you that my story that touches my heart is during the last wave, I had 2 people that cried when I gave them a bag of food.
Oh.
I mean, no, I was taken back myself, but a bag of food created that type of response. So we're going to keep on doing it.
Thank you.
We don't realize it, but there's a lot of people that really don't have nothing to eat because they're out of a job because of what's happening with the COVID. And we gotta keep that in mind. That's why I'm saying, if you need me, Mr. Ariad, once again, I'm here. I'll be more than glad to go help you.
I thank you, Ms. Berta, because it does get a bit hectic sometimes. You know, one of the persons who was very emotional with me, she was taking care of 5 of her grandkids.
Yeah.
We have a lot of seniors. I'll say it right now. We have a lot of seniors, a lot of single moms. The seniors will send their providers. So you say, how do you know? I mean, I don't ask them, how old are you? But if they're sending their providers, that means that they're elderly and they need help. But we know our clients now. We know who needs and when they need. And, you know, we had Boost this last week or so. So the Boost was actually quite popular, and I had people that would call and saying, "Ya no tienen Boost." So we had enough Boost. That was a donation also, by the way. A gentleman showed up to our door, and he gave us, I think, 10 cases of Boost.
Wow.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
One final question, sir, Mr. Ariad.
Yes.
In my packet, I don't know if in the others, there is a signature sheet.
Yes.
Yeah, I have it also.
Yes, I'm gonna circulate the signatures after we get back on Monday. I will come up with a file, and then I know that you might be unavailable, but I'll get the signatures I need from the board and from you at the right time.
Okay.
I will return. Yes, I will be gone Monday, but I return.
I know. We'll work with you, ma'am. We'll work
So
with
if you need to come in, I will. All right.
Mr. Villarreal, I think there's an app that we can do it so that we can sign it online.
That is correct.
So that way you don't have to
I think
around.
Miss Amanda's here on the line, I think, but I think I have her muted, but she knows the app, so I'll try to forward that to you all.
All right.
Okay.
Does anyone have any other matters? That takes care of the posted agenda items.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
At this end, I will call for a motion to to adjourn.
I move to adjourn this meeting.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn our meeting at this time. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
5:42.
5:42. Thank you all very much. God bless you all and keep you all stay
Thank
safe.
you. You all stay
Thank
safe as well.
you.
Thank you. All take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.